Hello, welcome to Geek Warning, the cycling tech-focused podcast from Escape Collective. I'm Dave Rome, back with Ronan McLaughlin. How are you doing, Ronan?
I'm good, Dave. Pretty tired. It's, 5 a.m. in the morning? We'll not get into why I'm recording a podcast at 5 a.m. in the morning, but these are the things that we do to ensure that our members have the podcast and content that we promise.
I worry that the people are going to wonder why we are recording a podcast at 5 a.m. in the morning. It's not 5 a.m. for me. It's perfectly reasonable 4 p.m. for me. And it wasn't my doing. You just messaged me out of the blue going, hey, you're around for a podcast? And I thought you should still be asleep.
Yeah, it should be. There's only so much tossing and turning you can do with a sick child in the room. So eventually you just say, slack it, I'm going to get up and try and get some work done because I'm going to spend the rest of the day looking after that kid. So
Yeah, make some podcast gold out of a bad situation.
You know, I'm an F1 nerd. I was thinking about you over the weekend. Because there's been some huge scandal in that two of the title contenders were disqualified from the weekend's race. I'm not sure if you've seen that.
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, so Lando Norris and your own Oscar Piastri both got disqualified. It means Max Verstappen's back in the race. But the reason I was thinking of you is because in the technical note that came out to inform the world of these disqualifications, they basically the infringement they had made was they had worn their skid planks below the threshold of 9 millimeters, and they were worn like 0.01 of a millimeter too much. And I thought that's incredibly small margins to be measuring and to be making such multi-million-dollar decisions on. And then when the note came out, it said, how do you pronounce that caliper brand, the fancy one?
Mitoya,
yeah. And it actually says on the note.
Yeah.
It actually says on the note they used a Mitoya micrometer. And I was like, oh, they might appreciate that.
Yeah, I saw that they actually did see that news, that they'd used an analog micrometer. And I guess the post I saw was of an Amazon purchase, and I just hope that their Amazon purchase is real, as in there's a lot of fake Mitoya calipers on Amazon, so I hope that this F1 ruling wasn't based on a counterfeit caliper. But anyway,
well, I went straight on to the Mitoya website to see if there might be any specialist versions of the micrometer that perhaps F1 might be, or actually more accurately the FIA, because they do the rules and stuff. But yeah, I'm assuming they have something that wasn't bought on Amazon.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Anyway, yes, very, very good tools. And I did actually get sent that, being the tool nerd that I am. A few people had sent that my way. So quite amusing. But worlds collide. But for this episode, I mean, we've got some things to chat through. Obviously, we had Suvi and Alex and Josh take over the reins last week, and we're back. And I guess there's a few things to get through as a result of that. But we've got some a product that may upset a few people that's gone quietly missing out of a range. The UCI have made a decision, or a lack of decision, that is going to open up the floodgates for some big wheels. There's a recall to talk about. There's something that's got me angry that's on my mind. And we'll have a PSA. And for members of Escape Collective, you get Ask a Wrench with myself and Brad Copeland at the end of this episode.
Non-members get something also.
Non-members, is this a segue into the fact
This is a segue through something we've got scheduled for later in the show, but we may as well cover it now since I so excellently segued us.
You did. Is this in reference to us opening up ads?
Well, we're not opening anything up. We're just, if you're not a member, you've had 2 years to pay and you haven't paid, so now you're getting ads. 3 years almost, actually.
It's been a while. We've done 140, 150 Geek Warning episodes or so. But we haven't had ads, and we've been ad-free all this time, and our website is going to continue to be ad-free, but our podcasts are going to have ads on the free feed. So if you don't like ads, then becoming a member will let you not have to have ads. To give some background on this, our free feed, it's great that you're here. We love people tuning in and listening, but this podcast has cost the business, and our revenue to date has just been pretty much exclusively through subscribers. And yeah, if you're not a subscriber, then you're basically costing us money. And as a result of that, that's where the ads come in. But they are basically of the programmatic kind. And what that means is it means we don't really have any control over what they are or what they aren't. They're basically going to be related to your region and perhaps your own search history. And yeah, so don't expect any cycling related ads. We've actually turned off that and requested that they're not cycling related, but maybe some nutrition ads, maybe some mattress ads, maybe something for your electricity bill. Who knows? But yeah, do expect if you're on the free feed to start to hear ads inserted in the near future.
I hadn't considered that there might be an AG1 ad in there until you said nutrition.
It's very possible. Yeah, I suspect
we don't know.
I suspect you'll get baby goods ads, but but yeah, I think it's worth noting. Yeah, programmatic ads. We have been doing it for a little bit in that Spin Cycle. Another podcast of Escape Collective is on YouTube already, and that is has some YouTube-based ads happening already, and that's basically what these are, but in podcast form. In that, yeah, we don't have a sales team. We're not ourselves selling ads, but yeah, we've partnered up with a not-for-profit that will do these ads for us. And
perhaps it's just easy to say that if you don't like ads or you don't like us doing ads, there is still the option to become a member and not hear any ads from us. The members feed will not have any ads at all.
Yep. And as always, the members feed also gets you access to all the member exclusive content, everything that we publish on the sites, and it brings you some feel good vibes for supporting what we do. But yeah, despite all those benefits, we still, currently have literally thousands and thousands of people that tune in every week on the free episode, and yeah, love having you here. But yeah, ads are coming, and enjoy those mattress ads. All right. Well, yeah, I'd planned to mention all that later in the episode. There we go. We've done it. And let's get on to some of the things in the episode, which is first on the list for me is one that came across my desk because of something our own Josh Weinberg was researching for his recent coverage of the Richie September, I think it's called. Is that what the travel bike's called?
Yeah, I know he did. He was doing a lot of research around that bike. There was a lot of conversations flowing about not even about the frame or how it's pronounced, but just like what you would put on it.
Yes, yeah. So Richie's new gravel travel bike, which they discussed in last week's episode, but yeah, basically he was wanting to build that up with wireless shifting, but with mechanical brakes. So he didn't have hydraulics to contend with. He wanted mechanical disc brakes. And in his research, he stumbled across very, very few options. And yeah, that led me thinking like, hang on, SRAM does axis rim brake shifters that would be perfect for this. Why not just use those? And turns out they don't anymore.
Since when?
Exactly. So this one went very quietly out of the catalog, out of the order list. You will still find them in certain parts of the internet where stock still exists, but it doesn't seem like SRAM's making them anymore.
You'll also still find them in my garage where I've got a brand new unused set sitting for about 4 years.
Hold on to them. They're going to double in value by next year.
I will take exactly what I paid for them right now. Perhaps the fact that they disappeared so quietly and there was no fuss suggests to us how many people were actually looking for these things, and maybe that is part of the reason why they did disappear.
I mean, that's kind of the sad reality of this, is that if there was still significant demand, then SRAM would never dream of discontinuing them. But the reality is that, yeah, demand must not be huge. But I don't know, I'm still saddened by this, to think that, there's probably not a huge number of Axis rim brake bikes still around. But it does really further limit options if you're wanting to build up a new rim brake bike. Yeah, the options are now like, what? Previous generation Campagnolo or current generation Shimano Duracer Ultegra, but having it fully wired.
It's 2-generation old Campag at this point.
2-generation old Campag, current gen Shimano, but it has to be wired. It's not a wireless shifter.
And I mean, how much of that stuff is floating about as well?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I mean, I do also have to wonder if you're looking to build a rim brake bike now, what are you thinking?
Yeah. I think for me though, it cements that if you're building a rim brake bike today, you're basically picking an older mechanical group set
or a very low end current group set.
Yeah, true. So anyway, just another cut to the rim breaker world. But yeah, I just I was a little bit surprised, saddened by that, and yeah, I don't think us complaining about it will see any reversal on this decision from SRAM. But yeah, if you've got a pair of those shifters, hold on to them, cherish them, tell them you love them.
I won't go that far, but hold on. I'll caress them.
All right, awesome. Yeah, next on the list, 32-inch wheels. The UCI has confirmed that they are not going to block them in cross-country mountain biking. They see mountain bike as sort of the hotbed for innovation, and they don't want to add.
What you mean is they don't see mountain bike. They turn a blind eye and they pretend that it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're far too focused on cutting measuring sticks to stick between people's hoods on the road. So, yeah, 32-inch wheels have now basically been given the go-ahead, and this is pretty much all that brands were waiting on as far as before they were about to invest massively in production, because we know a lot of brands have been working on this for years now, and it feels like it is coming.
So what's the news here? They've said they're not going to ban it right now.
Yeah,
they've kept the door ajar that they might come back.
Basically, yeah. The UCI has just said, there was speculation over them stepping in and saying, actually, no, we don't want larger wheels in mountain bike, and 29-inch will be the maximum size allowed for UCI level racing. But yeah, it turns out that was just mere speculation, and UCI is going to let this happen, which is, I think, going to create quite the stir, and perhaps, like we saw with 29ers, I think it's going to force a pretty big shift in the sport.
Have you forgotten where that speculation was first published?
It might have been me.
It was me.
It was you.
But that's why I ended up, because it was like they were definitely considering this at one point.
Yeah.
And the fact that they haven't done it doesn't mean that they weren't considering it.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? Like we kind of spoke about this, in that shorter riders will be disadvantaged with this. The 32-inch wheels. We know that they're going to have a benefit in terms of rollover ability and perhaps even efficiency when terrain is rough or technical. But yeah, they also have what seems like a bit of a height limit. With Rob English recently wrote a piece for Escape Collective where he chatted with 3 different frame builders that are all researching and testing 32-inch wheels, and Rob is working on his own. And the general consensus is that riders of 5'8" and up would benefit from 32-inch wheels, but below that you have significant compromises and challenges for fitting a smaller rider within these wheels. So yeah, I think we'll be talking about this plenty. I don't know how far away some of the big brands are in terms of putting their bikes into production, but we know that likes of Trek have spent a few years researching and designing bikes in this category. BMC has been seen out there testing one. And we also know, there's brands like DT Swiss have been making wheels. Maxxis already has tires in production. Not full production quantities, but in pre-production, shall we say. And yeah, there's certainly a lot of attention being given to this.
I'm just glad that if they do go ahead, that Dave, you'll get to level up to my standard of mountain biking going forward.
How so?
You'll have an opportunity to try 32-inch properly, not just in a the way that I've done that you haven't done.
Yeah, you as the only person on our team that's actually ridden a 32-inch mountain bike off road.
Yeah, me as one of the only people on the planet, not just on our team, to be fair. So
yeah, I do still love the fact that BMC chose our most.
They didn't. I made it happen. I was there for a very different. Well, we've published part 1 of why I was there now.
True.
And the opportunity arose. It wasn't that they reached out to me and do you want to ride a mountain bike? That would never happen.
Yeah. It's almost like you did it out of spite. But
that was probably about 99% of the reason why I took the opportunity.
I applaud it anyway. Well played. But yes, 32-inch wheels. We won't talk about them more today, but do expect us to cover them more in the future, because I do think it's going to have a pretty big impact on tech in both cross country and gravel segments, whether you love it or hate it. it's coming. All right, another little bit of tech news before we get on to something that's made me angry is Trek have a pretty large recall of little things. They've got a recall related to some of their pre-caliber kids bikes, specifically related to the coaster brakes, and it's impacting bikes from 2024 and newer. And just in North America alone, it's impacting some 75,000 bikes, which is not a small number.
That is a lot of kids' bikes.
Yep. So and keep in mind that a lot of other international regions will come up to speed on this and do similar recalls. It is going to add up. It is a lot of bikes, and shops that initially sold the bike will be given a small credit to do a wheel replacement on these bikes, which will fix the issue. And then customers that did buy the bikes for their trouble will be given it depends on the region, but they're seemingly in most regions being given a small gift voucher to spend in the shop while they're there. But certainly this is going to come at no small expense to Trek.
Yeah, it's the pre-caliber 12, 16 and 20, as well as the Electra Tiny Rental 1 step through, which is a long name for a bike, and the
Very
Electra Sprocket 1 16-inch. All made between 2024 and 2026. So if you've got a pre-caliber, or if you've got an Electra, just check out if your bike's affected.
Yep, absolutely. So those are all single speed bikes with a coaster brake. So
and basically the issue, I don't think we've mentioned the issue here,
no,
but the issue is that the brake doesn't work in some cases, and so it's not something you want your kid hopping on if the brake isn't going to work as expected.
Not ideal, but anyway, it's always good to kind of, I don't know, personally I always like to see recalls rather than hear of issues and see no recall, but kudos to Trek for taking those steps, but certainly it's that's a whole lot of bikes to fix.
Yeah, when the recall notices come out, it would be useful, and it would maybe need to be mandated, and I don't even know if that's possible, but if like some percentage of the products that have so far been affected, or number of issues that have so far been found, that might put people off, because if they see it like 1 in 1 million have been affected, they go, well, I'm not, and you want everybody to avail of the recall, but it would give us a better understanding of how prevalent the issue is, and then if it is 1 in 1 million, you say, well, fair play to this brand, they're taking proactive steps when arguably it might not be entirely necessary here. But if it's like 99 out of 100 bikes have had this issue, then well, this is just bad.
Ronan, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that, because like obviously country to country the laws vary on this, but in the US they have the CPSC, which is the governing body for recalls and consumer safety, and they normally do in these reports sort of announce the number of incidents or injuries reported. None reported for this. So it does, I'm sure incidents have happened, or shops have picked up on potential things that could go awry. But I have to say that actually is pretty positive to see from a brand, that no reported issues or injuries. It shows the brand's being rather proactive on this. So I guess no need to call for
something that already exists.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But I mean, as I mentioned, like that's more US specific thing. I've seen it. I can't remember if I've seen it in other countries, but it is for the most part a good thing. And I agree with you.
Incidents and injuries are the last thing that we want to see, but I still want to know how many bikes have they found this defect on.
Yeah.
Which is a separate thing, I think.
How prevalent it is. So
but
generally speaking, at least in the cycling industry, I'm going to applaud brands that do recalls versus those that push things under the rug until they can no longer cough, Shimano, cough.
I spoke to a few brands who have done recalls. Quite often it is, at least in their version of events, it's surprising how low a bar they have to pass before they'll do a recall. It's like you're still kind of feeling like there's basically no chance this is going to happen, and they'll do a recall and that's what we want to see, and that's to be commendable. Unfortunately, when you do a recall, it does come with negative connotations where we all automatically assume this is a bad design, or this is a bad bike, or this is a problem, or it is a problem. That's why they recall. But you know what I mean? Like we just sort of assume it's much worse than it is, and quite often it can just be a very costly thing for the brand to do, but they're just taking no chances, which again, as you said, is to be commended.
Absolutely. So anyway, if you got a bike on the list, head to your local track store, get it sorted out. Right, and I think it's time to have our on our mind. We haven't had one for a little while. I think I've stopped shaking, which I was 2 days ago while trying to do this. But I got quite frustrated, quite angry at a bike I was working on, and
just one bike, or
just one bike.
You make it sound like this doesn't happen that often.
I would say it doesn't happen that often, but this particular bike did cause great upset, to the point that I needed to get a second set of hands to get the job done, to get the bike back together.
Dave, before you tell me where you found an extra set of hands, because I think a lot of people would find that useful, tell me what the issue that you ran into was, first of all. I think I have an idea, having seen some of your Instagram stories over the last few days.
It was an Obeya E mountain bike, specifically a current generation Rise, but I think they've got a few other models in the range that use this, and it was the headset assembly on those bikes, and I counted, I think, 14 individual pieces in the headset assembly. But yeah, this particular bike had like a mechanical dropper cable, it had a mechanical derailleur housing, it had a Di2 wire for the motor, and it had a brake hose all running through this headset assembly. And yeah, I basically opened it up to grease the headset bearings that were creaking, and in turn ended up giving myself a little over an hour of work that I hadn't expected to do, because I ended up needing to disconnect all the mechanical cables that were fighting me for putting the bar back on, and I needed an extra set of hands to hold the bar just slightly above the headset, because that's all I had slack for, in order to then slowly put piece by piece back together. And amongst all that, it had a compression ring that kept wanting to bend. Yeah, so I posted one innocent photo of this bike on my Instagram stories, and my DMs quickly flooded with what I would consider to be well-regarded mechanics, all telling me that I'm not alone, and that it is potentially the worst and most infuriating headset design they've also worked on.
So it didn't just get a rise out of you, it got a rise out of a lot of mechanics.
100%, yes. So yeah, I think when something is this frustrating to work on, I think we just need to call it out. And my understanding is that Obeya, their latest 2026 bikes, they've got, I think, a new Occam, which is like a longer travel e-bike. My understanding is that it is now an optional additional cable port on the side of the frame in case you don't want to use their headset cable routing. But
hold on, like if that's an option, like the person who owned this bike that you're working on, would they have been happy had they brought the bike into you fully internal cable routed, and then they got it back with one cable external and through this port?
I don't know. Maybe their bike doesn't have that option, but
no. But if it did, and the reason I ask that is because I'm wondering here, is the issue yet again that we all want to have our cake and eat it? We want all these, like we want e-bike, we want dropper post, we want Di2, we want all these things, but we also want internal cable routing, and it's like, please pick.
Yep. So yeah, I guess I'm just reminded that like internal cable routing is bad, and there's situations where I really, really, truly hate it. On a road bike with electronic wireless shifting and two brake hoses running through, I'm fine now. I'm willing to accept that that's just the future we have. And you know, while it's not always the perfect solution, it's fine. But on an e-mountain bike that sees dirt and grit, and you need to pull the fork out for regular servicing, and you have multiple mechanical cables still involved, it's just such an awful idea. And for someone of my experience to need to spend more than an hour reassembling this thing with an extra set of hands, it's just not a good consumer product. The rest of the bike seems really good, but it's just so severely let down by that headset design. So yeah, it's I think it's just a reminder to brands that, like, yeah, if you're gonna make things, please get someone to ride the heck out of it, and then see how easy it is to perform some basic servicing, like pulling a fork on it.
There should be some standard for you need to be able to replace a headset bearing in X amount of minutes with one set of hands.
Yes.
Before you can put something into the market.
Yes, absolutely. So
I'm wondering though, is there like, it's you've said that this is just such a bad example that you had to call it out. There will be listeners just like screaming at their headphones, Dave, we know you don't like internal cable routing. Give us a break. But yeah, I think your rationale was that we're replacing good thing this week with a bad thing, and as such, we give you one last chance to moan about internal routing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think it's probably worth noting that. Like, yeah, overall, I don't love internal cable routing. I especially don't love it on off-road bikes. But there are okay ways to do it, and there are bad ways to do it, and the okay ways tend to involve like headset top caps that make it easier to capture the cables where they need to be. And the bad ways sort of allow the cables to twist and kink and have pieces that easily bend or are directional that need to be put back in a very specific orientation, but don't naturally want to fall back into that place because you've got 4 other cables fighting you while you do it. So yeah, I'm gonna stop ranting now, but yeah, it was just a reminder that there are today bikes being sold that are really, really not consumer friendly in design, and I'm frustrated by that because I think it's shit that you work on a bike with good mechanical shifting and a good mechanical dropper, and you just want to tell the person that their bike needs to have electronic stuff in order to be serviceable. Because that is the easy answer here, right? Rather than spend 2 hours in future, it's let's just put Di2 and a wireless dropper on your bike and make it harder to look after and make it, significantly more expensive to own, just so this repair can be done.
Make it likely to die someday.
Yeah. So yeah, increasingly so, if headset cable routing is designed with electronic stuff in mind and forcing the death of mechanical shifting and all that, then I think we're living in a sad day.
Well, I mean, the good news is you can tune in next week and listen to me complain about integrated handlebar and stems.
Yeah, it's a topic we've never covered before.
Never in the last couple of episodes, but go back a little bit, and it's a recurring segment probably at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it was covered last week because we weren't here, but yeah, it's certainly a reoccurring segment. But so anyway, fun times. But should we have a PSA?
Yeah. Well, it depends. What's it related to, and then I'll decide.
Headset cable routing. No, it's
no.
All right. So yeah, this PSA comes from someone who runs a service course out of Folsom, California, and yeah, we've had some tips from them before. Always helpful. But yeah, they recently came across a few Shimano 12-speed generation Di2 road rear derailleurs that were kind of had this hard to find creaking noise happening on occasion. So the bikes would just, while under pedaling load, were making a creaking noise. And yeah, they chased it back on 2 different bikes to actually being the rear derailleur, and specifically the intersection between the derailleur cage and like the derailleur body. And so yeah, basically grabbing the derailleur cage and moving it would produce this noise. And yeah, they told me something that I personally hadn't realized, so I'm going to share it because I think others may not know either. But that assembly is rebuildable, which I knew, but I didn't know that there's a pin that holds it together, and that pin becomes a wear component and can kind of get a bit grooved, and then that's what allows like enough movement to create this noise. And so Shimano actually sell an outer plate kit which comes with a new fixing screw. And so yeah, basically what they found is by changing that out, creaking noise goes away, derailleur's like new again. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I won't pretend that Shimano Di2 or current generation 12-speed is flawless and that this one thing will fix all issues with it. But yeah, I think this is a good PSA for anyone with working on or with a Shimano Di2 bike and that may have a mystery creak that they're chasing. Just check whether that derailleur cage is creaking in relation to the derailleur body. I think it's rare, but it might not be.
I mean, yeah, certainly if you've found this to be a creak source in the past, let us know. But maybe also just like hit us up with like the weirdest creak sources you've ever found.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I know Zach Edwards recently shared on Ask a Wrench that he recently tracked one down to a bidden cage bolt where there was just enough frame flex that the frame was like causing the bottle cage to flex under high pedaling loads, and that's he found that changing the torque on a bidden cage bolt made the bike go silent. So can be wild things.
The most frustrating one I found is that the Wahoo Speedplay cleats rub and thus creak against the Wahoo Speedplay Powerlink pedals. So the cleats that are designed for or the pedals that are designed for those cleats, they cause a creak. Didn't take me long to find, but is frustrating.
Not ideal. That reminds me of my my other pet peeve of the week, which is rattly computers and lights on handlebars.
Oh god, yeah. I have one head unit that has like the charger port door just doesn't stay closed anymore, and so you have to tape it closed, otherwise it rattles like crazy. Have I told you about my love for head units?
You have mentioned that every single one of them on the market is flawless, and that you can't pick one because they're all great. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, my favorite things article for this year is just 6 different head units.
Amazing.
Another recurring segment.
Yeah, for those that haven't been keeping pace, Ronan believes that all head units are terrible. So
the work of the devil.
Yep. So good thing you never use them, huh? Very good.
Only twice a day.
All right, Ronan, I think that might be the episode for us. And I think it's time to cut off the free episode and head on over to the members only section for Ask a Wrench with Brad Copeland. Yeah.
I mean, again, members can take some solace in the fact that they've had ads to listen to, even though they're not getting the Ask a Wrench. So yes,
the ads haven't begun yet. It was just us telling everyone that ads are coming and explaining it really poorly. But yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, then you're just entirely missing out this week. We have nothing to offer you. We will have ads to offer in future.
Yeah, but in the meantime, if you don't like ads and you do want Ask a Wrench, then become a member of Escape Collective. It'll gain you access to the section you're about to miss out on, which happens every single week. It'll gain you access to Ronan's Performance Process podcast and everything that we ever talk about on this podcast, which is often behind a paywall.
Can I say as well, like, we always try to give a hint of what's coming up in Ask a Wrench, but it doesn't really do it justice in that whether you have that specific problem or not with a bike that you need the answer to, and quite often I kind of think like if you have that problem, you maybe are going to have it figured out yourself before you listen to this podcast, or you're going to have taken it to a local mechanic who can figure it out for you. But just the knowledge that you gain from listening to two mechanics, and quite often there will be like, oh, someone writes in like, I have this issue with my bike, what is it? And actually you'll pick up 3 or 4 other nuggets of information that can just be so useful in diagnosing problems or predicting problems before they crop up, or just being aware of things that may go awry on your bike or may cause issue, and preempting them, as I said. So I think it's always worth more than just like, there might be non-members listening who think, but I don't need to know how to fix a problem on somebody else's bike. It's more than that. Yeah,
we'd certainly try to make our answers more useful and share sort of tidbits related to those answers. And I can tell you that we have a lot of professional mechanics that tune in just to I guess hear whether there's anything they're missing, or sort of hear how others do it, and just to get that sort of bike shop banter that so many of us miss from not working in shops anymore or not being around shops. So I think it's I often get feedback from pro mechanics, sometimes world tour mechanics, sometimes the people that write the how-to manuals or manuals for some really large brands that have tuned in and give feedback or add to the conversation. So if you're not mechanically minded, I'm sure there's some interest to be had and some knowledge to be gained. Thank you, Ronan. All right. Well, with all that, let's head on over to Ask a Wrench. I won't tell you what's happening for this week. You'll just have to find out. Ronan, thank you very much.
Thanks. See you next week.
Yeah, I hope you get some sleep in the meantime.
Unlikely.
All right. Good luck.
Who needs sleep? It's too boring.
Thanks to Will Jones of Red Bricks Media for the editing and mixing of this episode.